Okay.
Are we on? Are we on? Okay.
All right, go ahead and fire away.
All right. Good to have the rookies in here. I thought they did a nice job. It was good work, good introduction to these guys. Some of these guys have been traveling all over America, so they haven't done a whole lot of football up until this point. So it was good to get them back in the swing of things, and so they could see, see what kind of pace we go at. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, what's your first impression of Xavier out there?
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job picking things up and working through. We asked him to do a whole lot of stuff there. He was putting most of the primary spots, so it was good for him to get in there and move around a little bit.
He seemed to be picking up stuff okay so far?
Yeah, sharp kid. Yeah.
That's kind of part of what this weekend's about, right? Giving these guys more than they maybe can handle and see what they can do.
Yeah, sure. And then you wait for see how they retain it when they come back, and then things obviously are even a little faster when you get back in here.
It sounds like you had a pretty good visit with Kingsley when he was in here, because he calls you uncle. Does it give you a little bit different feel for having a guy that shares your background and coming from BYU and everything?
Yeah, well, listen, I know a lot of his family, and he's a local kid there, so it's a close-knit group up there, just in general with BYU, and so I understand that part. But when you're here, then it's work. He knows that, and there's no favoritism. So you get out, and it's equal opportunity for everybody. And I was proud of him how he worked. He came out and worked hard and did a nice job of learning. So yeah.
What's your connection with BYU now? Well, Edwards is gone. Obviously, everybody who was there when you were there is gone. What's your connection with BYU?
Yeah, so I've known Kalani for a number of years. Kalani played there, and then Tom Homo and I were teammates, and I coached Chad Lewis. These are all the assistant AD, and Lee Johnson I played with and coached. So I've got that connection. I mean, there are a bunch of other people. So, and I've gone back, back up there. My son was a strength coach up there too. So.
An investment in offensive linemen too, with CJ back there along with Kingsley. Just what have you seen from them, just in your observations that's impressed you? The tape in college, how does it match up with what you've seen as a person?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I'll be curious to see when our other guys get in here. I mean, we're not going live, so I've got to see. And there's no run game. We're not doing that against each other, and so you're not going to see that going on. But I liked what I saw from what I saw. It's got to be one of the better offensive line groups, young offensive line groups that we've had in here. It's just collectively. So.
And you say all the time you love being a teacher of football, but it's not every day you're teaching a guy who's never played the sport at any level. Unlike Luis, how exciting is it to try to get him involved? And obviously, this is your first chance really seeing him in a full sort of football context here.
Yeah, sure. No, this was good for him, this camp, for that reason, that he got a lot of reps. When the guys are here, he's rotating in with those guys. He didn't get a ton of reps there, but this gave him an opportunity to really jump in and learn. And he's so diligent with everything and wants to be so good at everything. And that's I've appreciated that. And you could see the progress he's made. You guys saw yesterday with the long run he had on the screen. So he's I thought he was going to dive in the end zone, but other than that, he was good. That's all right. He did good.
Have you ever played rugby, club rugby, when you were younger? You know the game at all?
I've watched it. I haven't played it. No.
His speed kind of jumps off the page at you, but are there little things that he needs to work on, whether because his running style looks a little bit different, holding the ball looks a little different? Are those techniques that he's just need to work on? Yeah,
he's done a good job of working on holding the ball. They do hold a little bit different, bigger ball, and not quite as pointy as a football. So he's done a good job with that, working that. He'll learn the pad level. The first time he gets hit, he'll be able to adjust where he's at there. But I like the fact that he's got shorter steps initially. That's a good thing as a running back. If you're a long strider in there, you got to really work on making it through those tight adjustments that you have to make. So he seems to have a nice feel, though.
What was your initial impression of Wiley and kind of just considering he has an opportunity here with Blake Bell no longer here for that third position.
Yeah, I liked what I saw. Big kid, could change direction. He was a good blocker in college, so we'll see how that transfers. I thought he caught the ball well for the most part, and have retained information. So I thought he did a pretty good job there.
Andy, I wonder if you can backtrack to this time last year. You're getting ready to have OTAs and some of the vets come in, obviously. Is there something about the tone that was set this time of last year that you thought was pretty effective? Well, there's some patterns.
Yeah. So I would tell you they came back with a purpose last year, which is important at this time of the year. As simple as that sounds, with all the time that you've got before the season starts. And I'd tell you they had the same thing this year. They were maybe it's because they were away from each other in phase one and other teams were together and they saw that. But when they got back, they were working fast and hard and aggressive, and or as aggressive as you can be in this camp, but aggressive, working to get better on the things that they need to get better at.
We'll go last few, Adam, Blair, and then Todd. Go down.
Andy, I wanted to ask you about Carson Wentz. So ever since Pat's been here, you've had a guy, a backup kind of toward the end of his career in that spot. Not that Wentz hasn't played a lot, but he's maybe in a different category than those other two. Is it maybe less important to have a guy in that room with Pat that doesn't have all that experience? Is that less important?
Yeah, I still like having that, Adam. I thought Blaine did a nice job when he was here last year. Carson, I know, did a nice job when he worked with the Rams. Had a nice game actually for him right at the end there. But I welcome him in. We talked to him last year when we were talking to Blaine, and he was holding off for an opportunity possibly to start. So, but it was good to get him in this position, and if he has an opportunity to play, he has an opportunity to play. But we'll just see how it goes. But he's really handled it well since he's been here. He's a good football player. I like him.
Blair?
Andy, we're going to get a chance to talk to Phillip Brooks again, I guess. Just your thoughts on him, and what does it take for a guy in his position to make an impact?
Yeah, just probably reps and time. Just give him. The more you get, the better you're going to get. Familiar with all the calls and all the looks that you're going to see, and that's probably the most important things. And I'd tell you that really for all of them.
Todd?
You guys aren't working on this stuff on the field yet. You probably won't really be able to do it until training camp. But the new kickoff rule, what's your background study been like? How much more time are you guys spending on that, just trying to maybe guess what it's going to be like when you get there on the practice field and affecting your roster as well?
Tobes jumped right into it. So he's worked with the guys, and we can only use bags, so it's we're not. But at least you get an idea of angles, distances, what the kickers have to do, so on. So, but he jumped right in with it, and it's obviously going to take some time to learn, and there's no better time than right now.
It's an unknown, but you like the idea of the rule?
Yeah, no, I do. It's different, so I'm not afraid of changes. Never really have been. So this, this is different. It looks like it's going to be exciting. I'm fired up to see how it looks, as long as it goes in our direction.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, good day.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll bring Chris your way here.
He's probably got me fired.
I'm not going to get you fired yet, man.
Go ahead, fire away, guys.
Hey, Chris, what was it like out there, especially just getting as much work as you did this weekend?
It was great. It was a great opportunity. Second year in a row, getting to do and be a part of Minicamp, and so sort of being the guy that gets to sort of, lead the charge with the offense and, really the whole camp is something that I don't take for granted. Good to get out there with the young guys, and, for myself, it's good to, test my knowledge of what I've learned over the past couple years and getting guys adjusted, set, controlling that tempo in and out of the huddle. So it was a great weekend.
From your perspective, how's Xavier Worthy as a pass catcher?
I mean, we drafted him in the first round for a reason. He's a dog. I think you guys saw it this weekend. People were dogging him for the first day, and, that's just welcome to the league. But Xavier's going to do really well in this offense. I think we're all really excited about him. Saw what he could do this weekend in terms of, spinning guys at the top of routes and, how explosive he is, stretching the field and, also, his yak ability, after the catch. So.
You found him yesterday after that deep throw. Can you just kind of walk us through that one?
Yeah, no, I was talking to Nags, and I was really eager to get that with him, and he spun the guy like a top, and he was already 50 yards downfield, and this is right after me getting out of a play fake, and so I sort of saw him and was like, oh, let me just get him the ball, and he ended up making a great catch for me too, and so that's going to be something I think he does really well in this offense.
Do you have to adjust a little bit with a guy when you're playing with a guy with that kind of speed?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you may just have to get the ball out, a step or two earlier. This guy runs 4.21, so definitely got to adjust with that.
What about Wiley? What did you see from the tight end?
Oh, Wiley was great. I think he's 6'6", big body, runs really well, for his size, and that was really good to see. And it was good to see him make those big catches over the middle, hit him on a couple deep crosses. Saw him get physical, bumping guys off, breaking out of routes, and being a big target. That's something that Trav's done really well in his time here. Noah Gray does really well, and so it'll be good to add him into that mix.
Chris, just for you, third year in the system, right?
Yep.
So just at this point, just how do you take coming to another mini camp, another training camp, things like that?
I take it as another opportunity to get better. It's something it's not just something they ask me, and they do ask me, but it's something that I want to do. It's something that I feel like, it just gives me an opportunity to get better. Especially in my role as a third guy, the reps are slim. So to come out here, no matter who's out here, I could take all you guys out there and, try to figure out the offense with you guys. And, it's just another opportunity. It's good for me to not only be able to run the offense and be able to spearhead everything, but also be a teacher. One of my good friends from back home, from Tampa, he was actually in the camp and he stayed with me the past 3 days. So being able to go over the playbook and install with him and sort of teach him was something that was neat for myself to, really hone it and be like, all right, you really know it, third year in the system, and so now it's just going out there and producing when I get my opportunities.
I know who was that? I know it's really early, but what's Luis like as a teammate, and how cool is it to sort of see a guy, try a new sport for the first time?
Luis is great. I told my mom when I left Texas, he came out in Texas, we had an Airbnb and he stayed. We lived together for 2 weeks, and I told my mom I learned more about Luis in those 2 weeks than I probably know about my own brother. Me and my brother are super close. He's great. I think he has a really good personality. I think he's going to fit really well into the culture here. He's been a professional athlete for, since he's 16. So he knows he has that business-like mentality, but also knows, off the field, have a little fun, be loose, and fit in with the guys. So I think he's going to be a great addition. I was sort of picking at him a little bit yesterday, threw a halfback screen to him, and you see Lewis running down the field like his little rugby run. And so, I think he's going to be great.
Who was it that's staying with it that you were talking about?
Zach Mathis from North Dakota State.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him. He's
yeah.
We're out there.
Yes, yeah, 6'7". He's definitely a long kid. It's weird. I've literally known him since I was in diapers. I was really good friends, am really good friends with his older brother, Jacob Mathis. So when I saw his name was on the list, he sort of hit me up before he got up here and was like, hey, I want to do anything I can, try to make this team. And so, of course, Tampa guys, we stick together. So.
I know you haven't interacted a ton with the team from last year, but probably a little bit in the facility so far. Have you noticed like a concerted effort to turn the page to this year already?
Yeah, last year. I think we're sort of done with that, with last year and winning. I think we're sort of done with that after the parade. We understand coming into this new year, we had a big target on our backs last year after winning. And then going back to back now, that target's as big as ever. So I think everyone is, singularly focused on, doing what we can now. And, Super Bowls aren't won, the day of the game. They're won now by preparing and, mentally and physically to get ready, heading into training camp and then into the season.
How much do you embrace that role of being you know, kind of the first guy on this roster to throw with these new draft picks and kind of introduce him to this offense?
It's good because I mean Pat's called me after every single day and he's just like, hey, how are the guys doing? You know, what routes are they good at? You know, just things of that nature. Just sort of asking about the guys, even just in the cafeteria, how are they as dudes? You know, good dudes. That's something that I think Coach Reid and all the coaches, you know, we take pride in here. You know, everyone's a good dude in the building. So yeah, it's good to actually be the first one to sort of call Pat and be like, hey man, Xavier Worthy's as fast as he is. So
I did notice you were at the WWE thing last week.
I was.
Sitting on the end there, you know, what was that like, being a part of that?
So I've never really been a WWE fan myself. That was my first time, and Pat was just sort of like trying to come out. So went out there, and it was definitely entertaining. Like I completely understand why people find it entertaining because that was a pretty cool experience to be right there. And you know, you have a 6'10", 385-pound dude screaming in Pat's face and that whole production, and then we see him behind the camera, and he's like the nicest dude ever, like shaking our hands, smiling. I was like, all right, that was a little weird, but you know, I think they do a really good job with the production.
Were those real rings that Pat gave him or not? Can you give it still secret?
I don't know. I mean, you gotta ask Pat on that one.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Man, that was
What's it like to be so close to home and get this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Kansas City, so at least I'm in Missouri, and I grew up a Chiefs fan, family of Chiefs fans, so it's a dream come true for me, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
So you had a lot of offers after the draft. Did you choose this for that reason?
Yeah, that was part of the reason, yeah, and it just felt like talking to my agent and family is the best fit for my type of play style as well, so.
Did you get to many games when you were a kid at Arrowhead?
Oh yeah, I went to a few a year for sure when I was younger. When I got to college, I couldn't go as much, but I tried to make it every now and then. So yeah.
Who were your favorite players back then?
So when I was younger, I played for this team called the Thunder, and Dwayne Bowe was and Dontari Poe would come to our little camps and stuff. So they kind of made an impact on me when I was younger, and those are my favorite players at the time for sure.
How many of your family members were hitting you up being like, oh man, I'm so proud of you for being a Chief?
All of them. Family members I didn't even know I was family with hit me up. So, yeah.
What did Felix tell you about this place?
I mean, he just told me we win championships here. So come with that championship mentality, with your work ethic, and you know, doing everything right and on and off the field. So it's the professionalism here is great, the work ethic, all that. So he told me to come in ready to go because they're not playing no games. They're trying to get back to that Super Bowl again. So
How do you think you did here, 3 days?
I say I had a solid weekend. There's some things I could have cleaned up, but it's like freshman year again and in college, relearning all the plays, and I feel like once I get comfortable doing that, learning the system more, I can play my game more. So.
When you're not drafted and you get to come in, how much pressure do you put on yourself for these 3 days to get on tape, doing the right things and doing the right things in the meetings?
I actually try not to put pressure on myself only because, you know, I've learned at a younger age that when I put pressure on myself, I don't play my game. So, even though I wasn't drafted, they asked for me to be here. So, my game is allowed me to get here. So I just got to keep playing my game, doing everything right, and good things will come.
How different is the playbook from Kansas State?
It's different. The terminology is different, but football is football. You know, some plays at Kansas State we run here. They just named different, so that's kind of helped me grasp the offense a little bit better. I was put 2 and 2 together whenever I'm learning the offense, so that helps.
Well, how much do you think your background at K-State helps in learning special teams at this level and just being prepared for a potential special teams role?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I learned at K-State, you know, special teams is one of the 3 phases on the field, just like offense and defense. So we take a lot of pride in special teams, and that's what I intend to do here. I believe that's how I'm going to make it here. I believe that's how I'm going to get on the field here. So, yeah.
You were known for being obviously an impressive returner. Just you guys have to run through it a little bit this week, but what are your just initial thoughts of seeing the kickoff rule and obviously the potential of maybe having a spot as a returner?
Yeah. I think the kickoff rule is great as far as, you know, allowing more returns to happen. Because even in college, I felt like it was a lot of out of the end zone kicks and a lot of fair catches going on. So it brings excitement to the game. So and as a returner, I'm excited for that. You know, it's going to be a lot more action. It's going to give me a lot more opportunity. And we got great returners here, so I just want to add to the value.
Being in the Big 12, how well did you know Xavier before this weekend, and what was it like working with him this weekend?
Yeah. I actually did not know Xavier. I know him from playing against him, but I don't know him personally. But getting to know him, he's a real good guy. Going against him, obviously he's super fast. You know, I consider myself fast. Comparatively to him, I got some work to do. So, it's good. I believe it pushes me to see him do his thing. So, I haven't even seen the other guys yet. So I'm excited to see that and see all that experience and that ability and talent and put it all together on the field. So,
how much does this weekend give you confidence for the rest of leading up to the season, and whether it's here or whether it's anywhere else?
No, I got a feel for how they run things here. Got the jitters out, I believe. So I'm feeling very comfortable. I'm about to go train with this week off, come back, and do my thing. So, yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Start with a name pronunciation and then we'll get rolling. I know everyone's curious, so.
Yeah, it's Rees-Zammit. I've heard many different ways of saying it, but Rees-Zammit. I mean, I'm not too fussed, but I guess that's what it is.
All right, let's get rolling, guys.
What's this been like for you, learning curve wise? First off, not on the field, but off the field, learning plays. I've watched some rugby. I don't quite understand the game. You guys don't have plays like we run here. It's a little more free flowing. What's it been like to study that part?
Yeah, I mean it's completely different. Obviously in rugby it's very free flowing. Unless you get a set piece in rugby, that's when you call a play. So there's probably 20 to 30 plays a game. Whereas here, you're talking hundreds. So it's been interesting to learn the playbook. Obviously, we're only a few installs in. I've only been here for a week. But yes, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
How do you feel it went for you this week?
Yeah, it was a good week, really good week. It was great to meet all the boys. Great to dive deep into the playbook, as I said earlier. But yeah, it's been a good week overall, and definitely helped doing rookie minicamp, getting reps, because I'm a very, the way I learn is like actually doing the reps. So, it was a great 3 days.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Matt, go ahead.
What prompted you to want to do this?
Sorry?
What prompted you to want to lead?
Well, obviously my dad was a big NFL fan growing up, and he wanted to play the sport. He played American football back in the UK. It wasn't an option to come out here and play, but growing up as a kid, I've always watched it. Every Sunday I've been staying up late. Obviously the time difference is 5 to 6 hours, so it'd be early hours in the morning for me. But yeah, I've my dad's a massive mentor for me and a role model. So it was just about when I was going to do it, and I achieved everything I wanted to in rugby. So I thought now was the perfect time.
What have the daily conversations been like with your dad, just talking about what this experience has been like this weekend?
Yes, it's great conversations. He's massively into American football, so the questions he's been asking me are, tricky ones to answer. But yeah, it's been great. Talking to my parents. Obviously, they're back in the UK. Time difference has been hard, but I've spoken to them every day, and they're really happy for me.
There were a bunch of teams interested because of your athleticism and whatnot. When you're trying to pick a team from afar, how much did the Chiefs' recent success be like, okay, I think that is where I'd like to potentially be?
I think it's more the coaches. They got unbelievable coaches here, and it was where I was going to learn the best. The best group of boys. It was just about having a plan for me, and being able to prove what I can do, and being able to translate my rugby skills into football. So it's been great on that side.
Lewis, did you see yourself as a running back? I guess in the lead up to this, there was some possibility that maybe you could play receiver.
Mm-hmm.
How do you envision yourself in this league?
So obviously, I've been put in the running back group to start with. I think there's going to be a versatile role for me. I'm hoping, the coaches are very creative here, so see what they can do. But it's all about me learning the playbook and learning the game, because without that, I can't do anything else. So, I'm fully focused on, the now. I got to make the team. How am I going to do that? I've got to perform on the field. I've got to learn the playbook, and then we'll go from there.
Growing up watching those games in the morning, who are the NFL players that you and your father admired the most?
So Deshaun Jackson was was pretty much my role model growing up. From the age of probably 11 or 12, I used to watch him on YouTube all the time. So he was definitely one. His speed was absolutely outrageous. His change of direction was unbelievable. The deep balls he was catching. But yeah, he was the main player that I would watch growing up.
When you see Xavier out there, does that kind of remind you a little bit? You're a pretty fast guy yourself. When you see Xavier, you're like, oh man, that's fast.
Yeah, Xavier is quick. Xavier is quick. And there's no surprise how he broke the record, the 40-yard dash. So he's looking great out there.
Just want to know the biggest challenges in the translation from rugby to football.
Yeah, I'd say when I get the ball in my hand, it's pretty similar. Getting open field space, it's about how I do that. So if I'm in the backfield, the footwork, I'm used to being able to pick gaps, use my awareness. Route running's obviously completely new to me. Being able to accelerate and decelerate pretty much at the same time is pretty tricky. But yeah, the more reps I do, the better I'll get, and it's going to take time. It's definitely going to take time, but I'm willing to put the work in.
Luis, you went to Patrick's kind of camp of sorts in Texas. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was amazing. You know, all the quarterbacks and receivers were there. We were running routes. We were working in the gym, working on different movements with Bobby. So yeah, it was a great 2 weeks, and yeah, I definitely learned. I learned a lot with Pat and all the other boys.
Is he kind of like a coach down there with you?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm new to the game, so I'm trying to pick everyone's brains and try and pick up the sport as quick as possible because I want to be out there playing. So the way I can do that is by picking the brains of everyone that's currently here and trying to learn the game as quick as possible.
Mackenzie in the back.
Yeah, I talked with some local rugby coaches that said the transition from rugby to football might be a bit easier. Do you agree? And how has the transition been for you? Is it kind of how you thought it would go?
I mean, easier. I don't know about easier. I think being at the running back position is easier because I can get the ball earlier, as opposed to being out playing wide receiver. It's obviously different, and catching you catch laterally, and in rugby you don't catch forward. So that's been a bit different, and you know I'm just loving like being able to work and work on all these crafts because the more I can do, you know, the more I can try and help this team.
All right, we're gonna go last three. PJ, Justin.
I know, you know, playing for Wales takes you all around the world. Just have you been in America a bunch, and has there been a transition living here now?
So my family holiday every year was to Florida. So I've been to America a lot. I've trained in Atlanta for the past 3 years with Coach Chip Smith. So I've been doing a few things to try and prep myself for this. So yeah, it's not too different. I've always wanted to live in America, so this was the perfect time, you know, try and make it in the NFL and live over here.
Have you ever been to an NFL game over there? Have you ever attended an NFL game before?
Yeah, so I've been to 2 games back home.
London and Wembley? Or?
Yeah, so one was in Wembley, one was in the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Last year I went to watch the Packers versus the Giants. I've actually never been to an NFL game in America, but I've been to the indoor league game, like the arena football. I went there when I was like 15, so and I remember one of the quarterbacks of the team after the game threw the ball to me, and my brother's a bit taller than me, and he went over the top and stole the ball, which I was devastated about. But yeah, that was kind of my experience over here.
We'll wrap it up over here.
You broke free on a pass yesterday. I just wonder what that felt like to kind of show what you could do.
It's amazing. It's amazing. When there's open field, you know, I feel like I'm playing rugby again. So, you know, I can use my awareness. When I am in space, then that's when I can cause the most damage. So, you know, the more I can do that, the more I can help the team.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.